topic Prof.Dr.Chaiyong would like me to discuss with you this morning is hypermedia, concepts, components, and roles. And yesterday I heard that you started to do some group work, and give some report on this, right?
About the outstanding and weakness of hypermedia.
That's really good, outstanding and weakness. But this morning we will discuss about the concept, principle, components of hypermedia, and roles of hypermedia. Okay. The objectives of this session are you should be able to define the term hypermedia. I'm sure that you have read some articles, but it's the time for you to do the writing of your own definition of hypermedia. And then define the components of hypermedia. You may know what it's all about, but when you come up to the terms, so write it down. What are the components, the composition of hypermedia? You may feel uncertain, see? Then you have to explain the roles of hypermedia in education. And during this, I have some video clips to present to you, along with some of my presentation after you do your group discussion, okay? I will give you about half an hour. I think because of the layout of the room, we'll change from small group to burst group. Have you heard the term burst group? Burst group, B-U-Z-C, burst group. Burst group means that the person sit together, 2 or 3, side by side, discuss some of the topics given to you. So we will change from small group to burst group. Okay. So what you will do is that I think we have some material for you to do. Since you have read some material from Professor Chaiyong yesterday, why don't you do this? You don't have to wait for the articles that is now being copied, but you start to discuss and write it down. 3 questions. What is the term? What is the definition of the term hypermedia? Okay, you write down in of your own words, okay? Second, what do you think should be the components of hypermedia? What does it consist of? Okay. And number 3, what should be the roles of hypermedia in education? 3 questions, and then you write it down in your paper. This will be scored and give it to Professor Chaiyong as the part of your final evaluation, okay? You think it will be okay? Okay. Ngerti? Mengerti? Bagus, okay. Okay, mulai. Start, okay? Okay, when you start working, when you start, do not be quiet. Do not be, we have to discuss, you have to speak out, okay? Check up, okay? from the first page, you read the topics of the discussion, objectives, task. Now you are working on task number 1, group discussion, history, concept, component, and roles, and you are now answering 3 questions. What is the definition of the term hypermedia? Second, what are the components of hypermedia? And third, what are the roles of hypermedia? Now you are now working in burst group on task no more Satu. Task number 1. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but you may write on separate pieces of paper. Okay. Yeah. So read this, but you may take time to read this later on. But now answer the question on the screen based on your experience. Also, you may have a look at these 3 articles. Okay. Okay. But I think they know. So the 3 questions are on first page, okay? So first page. Okay. If you don't understand, please raise your hand. Okay? English bukan kami bahasa. So English is not our language. So sometimes it's difficult to express the way we want people to understand. You submit the answers for the 3 questions in writing and hand it over to Professor Chaiyong, okay? Okay. Okay, this time we will select a few groups to give the report. Volunteer groups to give the report on number 1, 2, and 3. Okay, who will be the first to volunteer to give the report? We can use the wireless microphone here. Okay, yeah. Okay. What is the definition of hypermedia in your own words? And then what do you think are the components of hypermedia? And then what are the roles of hypermedia? Okay.
We just want to share what we already discussed. The first question, what is the term hypermedia? And we want to say that hypermedia is computer-based medium combining the text, audio, video, hypertext, animation, and the other device for instruction, entertainment, or information management, typically stores like CD or DVD. That's the term hypermedia. The second question, what are the components of hypermedia? We have is like 5. I don't know, maybe it's more than that. So a component of hypermedia, the first one is HTML, emails. And then we have the hypertext, interactive forms, tables are part of it. We have graphics and the others. Okay, the third, what are the roles of hypermedia in education hypermedia? We have 1, it will be helped by the hypermedia, we can have the productive learning environment. And the second, it will be help teacher to managing the learning environment. And 3, can help make an effective and enjoyable method to motivate and reinforce student learnings. And 4, hypermedia tools can create a positive and targeting learning environment for acquiring knowledge that combine entertainment is like icons, symbol that must be so entertaining the students. Thank you so much.
Very good.
So
Very good. Terima kasih. Sawadee
Yes, my first friend explained just now that the term of hypermedia is the form of hypertext. It is a non-linear medium of information which includes graphic, video, audio, etc. The term hyper shows something more, like hypertension in medical terms. And the second question, the components of hypermedia, HTML information that is interpreted by client's browser, and the second, hypertext linked to other locations within document or to other documents, and the third, the interactive forms include the two components, common gateway interface, CGI programs, and may assist in the IRM website, and the fourth table are part of ATMI3 and useful way to organize tabular data, and the last, graphics like scanner will create this file by default. Thank you.
Good. Okay. Thank you. Terima kasih.
My name is Susmini. Number one, tentang Hypermedia. Hypermedia is an extension to hypertext that supports language, graphic, sound and video elements in addition to text element. One of the strengths of hypertext lies in its capacity to isolation to model the kind of connection that transfer a particular file makes. The components of Hypermedia, such as a database of information, to multiple media, such as text, graphics, audio, video, the present the information. Three, multiple methods of moving from one piece to another, a hyperlink, minute, buttons, maps, websites, comments, index, page. The rules of hypermedia in education, such as general reference, include encyclopedias, dictionaries, the thesaurus and atlas, specific subject matter reference, such as setting the knowledge of particular subject area. Case study, edutainment reference or case studies embedded in a scenario that in engineering for young children museums. Archive contain text of many historical documents, such as speeches and newspaper articles relevant to the topic education. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Baguslah. Thank you. Terima kasih.
Hypermedia is a methodology to get information based on computer. We can use hypermedia not only use the text, but we can combine with video, music, song, image, and others. And then the component of the hypermedia is text, graphic, image, song, animation, music, audio, video, and etc. And then the rules of hypermedia in education, we found four here. The first is hypermedia help the teacher and the student to get information easier. The second is hypermedia can motivate the student to participate more in learning. The third is hypermedia help the teacher identify the student's style in learning. And the last is hypermedia make teaching learning process more fun.
More fun.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Good.
Term hypermedia is an extension hypertext that support linking graphic, sound, and video in addition to text element. Second answer, component media is the World Wide Web is a partial hypermedia system since support by graphical hyperlinks and links to sound and video files. Role of hypermedia in education is 1. Can learn the student study computer science in their third or fourth year. Number 2, student usually work alone, occasionally in small group up to all 3. Can be entertaining for student learning and get information for teacher and students. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, one more.
Question: what is the term of hypermedia? Hypermedia is an extension of the term hypertext. Is a nonlinear medium of information which includes graphics, audio, video, plain text, and hyperlinks. This contrasts with the broader term multimedia, which may include non-interactive linear presentation as well as hypermedia. It also related to the field of electronic literature. The term was first used in 1965 article by Ted Nelson. Take from Wikipedia. The second question is, what are the components of hypermedia? It's a database of information, multiple media like text, graphic, audio, video to present the information. Multiple method of moving from one piece to another like hyperlink, menus button, maps, word search commands, and index. The third question is, what are the rules of hypermedia in education? The first is general reference, include encyclopedia, dictionary. The specific subject matter reference like catalog, the knowledge of particular subject areas. Case study, edutainment, reference of or case studies. Museum contains image, historical information in some case. And then the last is archive, historical document like speech and newspaper article. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I will try to our group explain about the number 1. What is the term of hypermedia? Hyper is a prefix that means above, beyond, super, and media itself can define as a paper, screen, image, photograph, audio, music, picture, film, video, and animation. And then we combine hyper and media, created the word hypermedia. Yeah. The second, what are the components of hypermedia? The component of hypermedia we can discuss just now is using of the text, data, graphics, picture, animation, audio recording, and video. One of the most popular format for the teacher are used is PowerPoint. Sometimes they use it in the school for presentation. And the third, what are the rules of hypermedia in education? We discussed and then we have found that there are two of the rule of hypermedia in education. The first, hypermedia educational applications are the design of the screens and specifying the square to support effectively in learning process. And the second, hypermedia as educational technology and educational practice is the key to development of successful in learning process. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Tipkeson, to help moderate the reports. Yeah, okay. I feel that your group have been thoroughly thought out the answers to the questions. Really good one. Especially the last one, I got a lot of ideas from you in terms of the the role of hypermedia. Really good one. I think before I proceed on my presentation, do you think it's better time for them to have a break at about 15 minutes, Professor Tipkeson? Have a break about 15 minutes, okay? And so we'll come up and we will proceed first in groups. Let's review what happened in the past in terms of the history of hypermedia. You call your own language hypermedia. It's okay. Hypermedia. Hypermedia. I like the idea of your presentation. You break out the word hyper and then media. Very good. Bagus. Okay. The first one who started the idea of hypermedia was President Roosevelt's science advisor. If you can recall, Second World War make use a lot of high technology by that time to build aeroplanes, weapons to fight. The country credited to be the most advanced in technology is Germany. Still is. The Republic of Germany produced so many scientists, so many technologists, until we can see that even nowadays, no other country can beat Germany in terms of thinking the new things. They are leaders of vocational and technical careers. They give assistance to Thailand and many countries. But in the past 100 years, Thailand, like many other countries, were victims of colonization. Indonesia was under the Dutch, Holland, the Philippines under Spanish invasion. Thailand was under English, British and French colonization. Some 100 years ago, actually at the beginning of Bangkok period, when Bangkok started to be the last capital of Thailand, only 3 years, we lost our land, passed our land to England. That was in the reign of Rama I. After that, 14 times, we lost the land to these two countries, England and France. We used to own the land up to 1.2 million square kilometers. 1.2 million square kilometers. Now we were invaded and taken away by the British and the French. There are only about 453,000 kilometers in Thailand. So by the time the war, the second World War, make use a lot of technology thinking to do this. And one person, advisor to President Roosevelt, is by the name of Bush, not George Bush, either the senior or the junior one. Whenever Bush is credited with the first describing hypertext concept in 1945. You see his face in the video later on. Bush's vision for hypertext could be described as the effort to mechanize scientific literature, meaning to make the dream come true. He wrote an article called "As We May Think: The Power of Thinking," published in one of the journals, the Atlantic Monthly. He proposed the so-called mimics. Mimics is the extension, the abbreviation from memory extender. You see how it looks later on. So he proposed mimics and explained the idea of a machine that can use links to establish connection between documents. So if you sit here, now think what happened nowadays and some 100 years ago, in 1945, 100 years ago. No, not 100 years ago. Quite a long time, okay. You sit here, if you want to say anything, you just press button and the information will come right in front of you. So this is the idea. So all documents from encyclopedia, text, books, microforms, such as microfilms and anything will come up on here. That's just this idea. But he want microfilms, photo cells technology were described to store information, but he did not anticipate then that the computer technology would bring so much or had so much power. Okay, by the time computer were just some mechanical things. I will show you some video tape about this also. So he did not anticipate computer technology power, although he recognized that many technological breakthroughs would be needed to make mimics reality. A mimic has never been developed as a real system, actually. But Bush's ideas influenced 20 years later other pioneers in the field of hypertext. When started the development of first generation hypertext system in 1967, this was the year that I went to America. I got Fulbright scholarship. In 1967, Bush published another book called Mimics Revisited. So he went back to his idea, started some 20 years ago, 22 years ago. So he wrote a book called Science is Not Enough. After his initial concept of mimics, he detailed various technological advancements that have made his vision a possibility. The article claims that magnetic tape at the time would be central to the creation of a modern mimics device. Any of you now familiar with the video tape in computer using the mainframe with very big reel of video tape, magnetic tape to store information. The mimics, okay, memory index and memory and extender is the name of the hypothetical proto-hypertext. Proto it means first. Proto is Latin word means first. Proto-hypertext system that Bush described in his 1945 article as we may think. Okay. Now, Bush envisioned the mimics as a device in which individuals could compress and store all of their books, records, and communications, mechanized so that it may be consulted with exceeding speed and flexibility. Must be fast. The mimics would provide an enlarged, intimate supplement to one's memory. The concept of mimics influenced the development of early hypertext systems, eventually leading to the creation of World Wide Web, actually. The personal knowledge-based software. This is how mimics look. It looks like this. You see, this is the table, as I told you. And on top here is the display the screen or whatever form. By the time it was not computer screen, like it just projected the material at microfilm, microform, whatever, and some controller over here. And everything's built down. All of these drawers consisted of microforms and other type of information storage. I show you some of the because I forgot to put the title of this in. Just see this first, okay?
Bush had already created the basis for our current multimedia explosion, while at the same time he was leading the Manhattan Project atom bomb experiments.
Mimics, okay. Maybe different type of. Maybe not mimics anymore. Okay. It's mimics. Alright, but link us to some other things. This is about the war, nuclear war. I think it changed to other things. This is the idea of making use of MOMIX or memory extended to be used in developing high technology or high productivity in the factory. You can see that from the one I show you, the use of MOMIX or memory extended is now taking place in every part of the business of the life, the factory, and later I will show you even in supermarket, department store. Okay. Let me show you another few more. This is the diagram of Mr. Bush MOMIX animation.
He has dozens of possibly pertinent quotes and articles in his memo. First, he runs through an encyclopedia, finds an interesting but sketchy article, and leaves it projected. Next, in a history, he finds another pertinent item and ties the two together. Thus he goes, building a trail of many items. Occasionally, he inserts a comment of his own, either linking it into the main trail or joining it by a side trail to a particular item. His trails do not fade. Several years later, his talk with a friend turns to the Turkish bow. In fact, he has a trail on it. It is an interesting trail, pertinent to the discussion. So he sets a reproducer in action, photographs the whole trail out, and passes it to his friend for insertion in his own minutes.
This is how it looks inside the disc. Microphone. that is 1945 concept of hyper then, but the time it's not even called hypertext or hypermedia, but it's mimics. This is more like James Bond's movie. Another application of mimics.
Granddad? Anything that was in the garage?
That's not very optimistic.
He's one of those military guys. He didn't hold on to anything that was going to blow somebody up.
You see, that makes it a bad thing.
It's California. If I find a machine gun under a tarp in here, someone's going to jump out of a bush and arrest me.
At least not a machine gun when they do. Is it light?
Yeah.
It looks Spartan.
There's nothing trying to shoot me. There's something.
What do you think? Toolbox?
Maybe. Old file cabinets? He was really thorough by collecting old documents.
What is it?
I think it's a Memex.
The hell's a Memex?
It's a really old analog computer, kinda. I was sure they never actually built one.
This is a computer.
Sort of. See, there was this guy named Vannevar Bush who worked for President Roosevelt back in the 40s. He came up with this concept of a Memex in a magazine article called As We May Think. It was an analog system of information catalog, referencing and used microfilm and really complex levers and organization systems to do just about everything a computer does today.
So this was before digital.
Oh yeah, by a long shot. The article was published back in 1945. See, as far as I know, hell, as far as anyone knows, no one ever actually built a Memex. It was a theoretical thing. He described it in detail, but never designed it. I wonder who made it.
With the Memex now?
Mimics.
So this screen isn't digital at all.
No, it's just fogged glass. It's all done with projection and mountains of carefully cataloged. something. See, in the article, Bush described a system where professionals can have at their disposal whole new encyclopedias of information from all over. And we should. To that pre-numbered microphone. And I can just put it in my mix and type in the appropriate code, and there it was.
It sounds like a disc or like
Stop every meeting.
a flash drive or something.
Sort of. But the whole system worked this way. It was like an analog predecessor to a modern-day file allocation table. You're just doing all the steps manually, and the files are literally.
Okay, I think I will try to download this one. And if you do you use Line?
code.
Do you talk a Line?
Oh, there's some numbers on the side over here.
Ah, okay, wait. If you use Line, we'll create Line group, and then if I have all of this, I can even through flash drive, right? So I keep this video and the articles for you. Maybe next, even today or next time. All of this will be in the flash drive, so you can play it later on. Sorry for I didn't expect the speed of internet here will be this low because when I was trying out there, it was quite okay. So let's forget about this first, and other also. This is a true hypermedia in commercial business.
tell almost instantly if retailers are offering the best deal or not.
To be a smart shopper, it'd be better to have a smartphone. It saves you a whole lot of time.
We found Brandon Baumgartner in one store using his iPhone to scan barcodes, looking for a flat-screen TV. He found one somewhere else and saved $100. Then there was Chris Green, Googling a slate full of websites that offer price comparisons right on the spot. He stayed, finding the best price at Best Buy.
It's a new landscape for a lot of folks, but it's where consumers are headed because it's more convenient and easier to find the information that they need right at their fingertips.
She says 17% of shoppers plan to use their mobile phones this holiday. What may be most surprising is that 12% say that social media sites may be the most valuable shopping tool of all. If you Facebook Sears, for example, we found that if you click like it on a product, say this GPS, you can knock the price from $119 down to just $89.
What do you think about this video? What kind of ideas you get from seeing this video? You think it will happen today or in the future?
In the future.
You think it happens now?
In another country.
Not in our countries, right? Sorry. When you go shopping, housewife, ibu, ibu will make use of this smartphone. You see the table, Bush table. This is Bush table. The tablet. From this tablet, it will come the library, your personal library. You can store up 1,000 of pages in here. Everything, video, anything at all will be in here. And even you can, you make the list. You make the list of what you want to go to shopping. You make the list down here. Once you enter the gate of the department store, the RFID signal will go to the system, and they will say, okay, welcome.
เลยทำไมรถเสียง
เดี๋ยวอธิบายแป๊บหนึงค่ะ They will say welcome, and then once you move, you approach certain section located in this one, the merchandise, the products, the goods, the merchandise will be waiting for you. You can see from there. And even nowadays, there are some clerks, the people who come to help you. And in the future, there will be some kind of moving drawer. When you move to the milk section, carton of milk will move out. You just pick up in your cart, and then you move further, and then the tissue, the toilet tissue, will move out from the shelf, and you pick up into your cart, and then all will be calculated, the price. And even you don't have even to go to the counter, because the price will be deducted from your account to your bank account, and you just walk out to your car and drive away. You will just have a look again at this. You may see it again, see. And even if you want to make appointment with your friends, or the information will be right from here and get connected through Hypermedia links. Now he is meeting one of his business partner. He telephoned her. Nowadays, if you have girlfriend and boyfriends, if your children go away, you will not feel so far anymore because you can talk to her from video. And even if they have this kind of computer style like this, you don't have to pay telephone bill or anything like that. You can see how it comes out. Every part of the life become your display screen, you see. This called some kind of hologramic type of display. If you want to go to the shopping, you want to try out your dress, you want to change the pattern, or even the color. See? You don't have to go to try out to the room to change your dress, change the color. This is what I say, when you come in, RFID will detect the signal from your mobile phone. And with the list, waiting for you to go because it's already in here. These are the numbers of the section you want to visit. These are the diagrams of the shelves. You can see the clerk, the assistant will come, and he will check the stock. Actually, once one of the product is moved out, this minus and change to the store, so that the people will bring the products to fill it up. Out of stock. Our battery. Now this tissue jump out of the shelf. And she doesn't have to go to the counter. Or will be discounted from her checking account. So they compare the advantage of doing the hypermedia type of business. With this QR or barcode, you can compare the price as to where you should buy. This is the QR code. She's explaining the good things about doing this.
She says 17% of shoppers plan to use their mobile phones this holiday. But maybe most surprising is that 12% say
This is the good thing about this new social media world. So there will be new culture seeing all around the world. In Thai we call วัฒนธรรมก้มหน้า the culture facing down. What do you call it in Bahasa? Looking down. Looking down like this. Melihat bawah, culture. Melihat bahwa culture. Now culture melihat bahwaวัฒนธรรมก้ม This will be the culture of the world. What are the good things about melihat bahwa? The good things that you will not feel so bored when you have to wait for someone. You'll be so bored. When is she coming or when he's coming? And then you get angry. But now you don't worry whether he will come or she will come. You learn, see? You get information, funny video clip. You get good teaching, even nutrition. It's better to eat coconut milk than the cooking oil from palms. It's better to make use of coconut oil for frying food, something like that. Of course, because the Muslims do not use porky or any kind of thing. And it's good to eat banana. Pisang yang terbagus, terbaik for our health. Bergaya dengan makan pisang. See? From this, very good. And then you can also, through line, you can talk with your friend. And face to face, you can see the face. All of these are the integration of links. The theme of hypermedia is actually hyperlinks. You see, so we see. I think history of hypermedia will be reviewed, and then you will. Okay, we'll talk about the concept. Mimic system used a form of document bookmark list of static microfilm pages rather than a true hypertext system, where parts of pages would have internal structure beyond the common textual format. Okay, hypermedia, a term derived from hypertext actually. You have already mentioned this in your group reports. Extend the notion of hypertext link to include links among any set of multimedia objects, including sound, motion, video, and virtual reality. Okay. So hypermedia is a style of building systems for organizing, structuring, and accessing information around a network of multimedia nodes connected together by links. Okay. The structure of hypermedia allows hypermedia to be applied to a wide variety of tasks, documents, domains. We can distinguish by hypermedia system in two generations. Okay. First generation hypermedia hypertext systems were mainframe-based text-only system for augmenting the performance of information processing environments, storing the whole world's literature, or for supporting traditional writing and reading. So this is first generation text-based hyper. We call single level of hypermedia. Then the transition from hypertext to hypermedia took place with the second generation. The systems were quite similar in concept with first generation hypertext system, but they were workstation and PCs based, with more sophisticated graphics interfaces and support to other forms of information such as graphics, sound, animation, and video. This extends from text to more multimedia, sound, video, and animation. Okay. So hypermedia is defined by the presence of application control information embedded within or as a layer above the presentation of information. Distributed hypermedia allows the presentation and control information to be stored at remote locations. Okay. Hypermedia types are mimic media types that contain native hyperlinking semantics that induce application flow. For example, HTML is a hypermedia type. XML is not. Okay. Now, when we come to the concept, we always come down to definition. In computing, hypermedia may be viewed differently. The use of text, data, graphics, audio, and video as elements of extended hypertext system, in which all elements are linked so that the user can move among them at will. A computer-based information retrieval system that enables a user to gain or provide access to text, audio, and video recordings, photographs, and computer graphics related to particular subject. Again, in computer science, hypermedia is computer software and hardware that allows users to interact with text, graphics, sound, and video, each of which can be accessed from within any of the others. Hypermedia is a system in which various forms of information as data, text, graphics, video, and audio are linked together by a hypertext program. Hypermedia usually they can use with singular or plural noun, but usually with singular word. Treated as a singular. Hypermedia is not hypermedia are. Okay. Hypertext is text display on the computer's display or other electronic devices with reference mean hyperlinks to other text which the reader can immediately access, or where text can be revealed progressively at multiple levels of detail. So we call stress text multiple levels, not in one single level, multiple levels. Hypertext pages are interconnected by hyperlinks, typically activated by a mouse click. With a mouse click, you will go right away. A key press sequence or by touching screen. My computer is still not a modern one. I cannot use the touching screen, but Professor Chaiyong has a surface that can use touch screen. Apart from text, hypertext is sometimes used to describe tables, images, and other presentational content forms with hyperlinks. I think yesterday Professor Chaiyong showed you a hyperlink in terms of video. When she clicked, it brings you to a theory, swan theory or goose theory. When the goose fly, they fly in the formation V formation with the leader on top. It's really good, but people should work the same way as the goose flying. They have to obey the leader. They need to have loyalty to the leader. The leader may be a lot younger than they, but they have to obey. This is the goods theory. Okay. The hypertext is the underlying concept define the structure of the World Wide Web with pages often written in the many form HTML hypertext markup language. This is the very basic form of how you write the web page. It enables an easy to use and flexible connection and sharing of information over the internet. The internet is a global system. Now you can see that we start from memex to hypertext, then to internet. Okay, without the internet, without the internet, hypermedia seem to be really limited. Okay. I will show you actually one of the video I prepared is the history of the internet. But because the speed of this Wi-Fi is too slow. Okay, the internet is a global system of interconnected computer networks that use the standard Internet Protocol Suite or TCP/IP to link several billion devices worldwide. Is an international network of networks that consists of millions of private, public, academic, business, and government packet switch networks linked by a broad array of electronic, wireless, and optical networking technology. So, internet is the proper noun. So you have to use the in front of it. Whenever you mention it, you have to use the word the internet. The internet. Unless it's the modified word. Yeah. So the internet carries an extensive range of information, resources, and services, such as the interlinked hypertext documents and application of World Wide Web, WWW or W3, the infrastructure to support email and peer-to-peer networks for file sharing, telephony. Okay. Of course, you know already that the origins of the internet date back to research commissioned by the US government in 1960 to build robust fault-tolerant communication via computer networks. While this work together with work in other countries also, in the UK and France, there are 3 countries helped make it together, led to the important precursor networks, but they were not the internet. By the time it was not called internet yet. There is no consensus on the exact date when the modern internet came into being, but sometime in the early of 1980s is considered reasonable. From that point, the network experienced decades of sustained exponential growth as general of institutional, personal, and mobile computers were connected to it. I recall the time when I was in Jakarta. I was then training advisor to Department of Agriculture, and the computer by the time was XT, using floppy disk. You know, floppy disk about 5-inch. You put into the computer, and the hard disk was then only how big? 20 megabyte. The hard disk of the computer, and they were using the most popular form of word processing is I forgot the name. WordStar. Anyone remember WordStar? And later on, Microsoft came up with WordPerfect, right? So I was using WordStar, I was not so good at microcomputer by the time. 1987. 1987, some 20 or 30 years ago. 30 years ago. I had to study by myself because of my people started using WordStar really. But I was very new, so I started to self-educate myself to use microcomputer. It took me 2 years. I remember that after Indonesia, I went to Japan to work as a visiting professor at the Open University of Japan. University Terbuka in Japan. Actually, I had a part in helping the build UT in Indonesia also. Pak Suparman was my friend. He later on was president of UT. Okay. But Superman, I call him Superman. Superman, good friend. Okay. And Pak Suryadi was the father of Universitas Terbuka in dalam Jakarta. Okay. By the time when we were using the internet, we were using the internet as sending email using DOS. There were no such thing as Windows by the time. Windows came up sometime in the year 1995 or something like that. So the third component, we have Mimics as the first component of Hypermedia. Then we have hypertext. The third one would be World Wide Web. HTML as part of it, you see. Will be, without this, I think that it's quite impossible to do the link, hyperlink, hypermedia. Actually, hyperlink would be the proper form. Okay. The World Wide Web is a system of interlinked hypertext documents that are accessed via the internet. Anyone here can know how to build a web page for yourself? Anyone? Anyone can do web page? Anyone? Show your hand. Raise your hand, please. You can do. You have your personal web page. Yeah, it's quite easy to do nowadays. But before this, when I started to do this, I have to know how to write the script in hypertext, in HTML. Now they have many forms to do it. One can view web page that may contain text, image, video, and other multimedia, and navigate between them by hyperlinks. So nowadays, if we want to explain it clearly, we can say that hypermedia is actually systematic hyperlinks that can bring you out, reach out or reach you inside the computer, outside. See, that's why I say this is in Thailand. They have the same knowledge is embedded in yourself. Knowledge is something inside you that cannot be stolen. No one can steal it from you when you have the knowledge. When it fell into the water, your knowledge cannot be flushed away. When your knowledge fall into the fire, api, tidak akan dibakar. Cannot be burned. And no one can steal it. But this is the new form of embedded knowledge. When it go to the water, fall down to water, broken. When it falls into abyss, it will be burned. Then you live unattended. You just do like this and come back. Disappear. So this is the new form of embedded knowledge. Okay. And this is the new form of the knowledge that bring our world to the so-called ubiquitous world. You know the term ubiquitous? Have anyone heard the word ubiquitous? Ubiquitous? Ubiquitous. I think it's good for you to know. We will discuss this next time about the application of hypermedia in the real world. You will be oriented to the so-called ubiquitous.
So that's the homework.
Education.
He will
It's good
give
idea.
you the homework.
It's good idea.
Yes, okay.
Go to look for the term ubiquitous education. Ubiquitous it means
type of them.
Oh,
No.
sorry. Not yet. Ubiquitous. What does it mean? Ubiquitous is sorry. My fingers start to be very clumsy.
Not appear yet.
Orang tua. Bukan orang muda. Existing
Okay, nothing in the screen.
everywhere and at any time. This is the word ubiquitous.
No.
Huh?
I see.
Can you
Can you see?
too low, right? Again, okay lah. Okay.
Yeah.
Ubiquitous. Ubiquitous is existing everywhere at any time. So in the future, knowledge will be everywhere. At home, at your work, you can learn, you can study. So the future education is more than terbuka. Modern terbuka is everywhere. The setiap apa? Empat. Tempat. Setiap tempat, setiap waktu. Setiap tempat, setiap waktu. Setiap waktu. Setiap saat. Setiap saat, setiap waktu. Betul. This is ubiquitous. Allah. Our God Allah is the holy ubiquitous.ใช่ไหมประตู I speak in Thai. ประตู Okay. So this okay, in terms of component, I just say that actually this is very macro level. Hypermedia will consist of memex, hypertext, internet, and World Wide Web. This is the model structure, but this is the channel to go in. What you want to put in. Most of you think of the component of Hypermedia is text, video, audio, films, microphones, so on and so forth. But actually, in terms of links, we have to links to everything at all in the future. Actually, when you study the Holy Scripture, the Quran, when you study the history of our Nabi, Nabi Muhammad, we can see that he was so determined in himself to do the good things. He asked permission from his wife that once a year he would like to go away to do some kind of meditation, to get away from the family until a day, one night, I think, when he was about 53 years old, he got message from Jibril. Jibril appeared upon him and tell him, "Thou shalt read." And he said, "How can I read? Because I don't know how to read." But if you say yes, up there will give you empowerment that you will to read. He accepted. It was so good that when he came to tell his wife about this, his wife was the first to commit herself to be a Muslim. Very good. Look. Okay, thank you. Waktu sudah waktu. Untuk makanan siang. Makanan siang. Makan siang. Makan siang. Okay, from here, I think the rest will be in terms of implementation. We will discuss about next time. Okay. And also the roles that you have discussed. I think I really enjoy your report upon the topics of roles of hypermedia. Peranan hypermedia. Very good one. So we stop here, and there will be activities for you to do later on. Next week we will concentrate more on the design of hypermedia model for teaching and learning. Okay? Next time. So kalau gitu lebih baik untuk pergi makan siang. Terima kasih. Bye bye. Thank you.